Welcome, welcome. We are very excited for today. She had to go out and update her browser.
Oh, okay.
She should be coming right back. So it's kind of a discombobulated start to this one, but it's going to be fabulous because we have the lovely Leah Dyck joining us. And if any of you have had the opportunity to see her with us before, you will know how phenomenal she is just in speaking on all of these different pieces about how we can really truly understand if our horses are trying to connect to us, because we go to a lot of that my horse is being disrespectful kind of thing, and that's just not always the case. And the whole idea of
There's no such thing as disrespect. Horses don't even understand that abstract concept.
Yes.
So we just threw it out there in the newsletter because we thought maybe it'll stir some people, because there's no such thing. We've allowed something to happen.
That's exactly right. And I think people go to that because it's something we understand. Right?
Yes.
But it's not necessarily something that they understand. Well, it is. So that's that. So before we get rolling here, we will go through our regular old rigmarole, and then we will introduce our lovely Leah, and she's just going to knock your socks off. So, and I see we already have some people on too. Miranda's in here, Petra's in here, Sarah's in here. Hello, ladies. Anybody else who's watching, please do let us know who you are and where you're from, because we like that part.
We do. And we really enjoy it to think that we're talking to people.
That's exactly right. So the first thing we go through is, of course, the hashtag
Holy Jumpin' Tuna Fish. And you're going to have a pile of them today with Leah. So just keep throwing them out there.
That's right. You just cannot not.
No.
Cannot not.
No.
That was correct.
You can't.
Yep. So you just have to have them with Leah, because she'll blow your mind. Then next one we always have is this: we are life changers. And that's not us. That's not just our horses. That's every single one of you around this beautiful world that has the opportunity to change a life for the better every single day that we live and breathe, and our horses' lives as well, I might add. And this is a good one today for that connection piece with our horses, because it is opening a new sense of connection, a new sense of kindness, even with how we work with our horses as well, to allow us to go further.
Kindness is still a key word.
It is
and
key.
Integrity. I had a dream about that. You know, it's not you can just be kind. You must have the integrity to back the kindness, or then it's not really kind, right?
And sometimes being kind is something that's, people shy away from, but having integrity is being kind. Letting a girl know that her skirt's tucked into her underwear, and when she comes out of the bathroom,
or
it
it's something in the teeth.
Those are nice, kind things to do, people, with integrity. That's doing the right thing, doggone it. So if you ever see stuff in our teeth, you let us know. You tell us. And then, of course, share this one out, and please do share this. All of your horsey folk everywhere, share this out. We want them to hear this stuff, to really get that idea out of their head that horses are just beings that pull things and stuff like that. They are so phenomenal, and they have the opportunity, or if we give it to them and listen, to help us so much, and for us to help them in the same way, and to have that piece too.
And you don't have to be a business owner. Like if you own a horse, or your child is going to own a horse, you want to be a part of this process with Leah, because it will help. Well, it will help the horse always, but it will help you to be able to understand their world.
That's exactly right. Okay, and then I guess who we are. So, and I'm going to skip out here pretty quick so we get the full Leah and the full Carrie in the screen as well. But my name is Carolyn Charles. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing, as well as instructor and facilitator for the Equine Connection, the Academy of Equine Assisted Learning, Inc.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Fulmack, the founder of the Equine Connection, a master instructor helping people globally around the world do what it is that we do. And that is the greatest job in the freaking world, because why? We get to smell our horses every day. We get to hear and listen to them. And they actually and literally are the teachers of our equine assisted guided programs. And it always helps humans who come into our programs, because most of them are non-horse people, to make extreme empowering changes, because they decide of the change. We don't. It's the horse who continually teaches them. We have the answers inside. That's why Leah today is going to be so beautiful, because they help bring things out of us. Even if you think you don't have the answer to some problem in your life, you actually do. And that's why that horse is so powerful, and allowing those humans to find the answers themselves.
Absolutely. So without further ado, because she's the most important part here today, we're going to introduce our lovely Leah. Leah Dyck has a passion for both human and equine wellness. She is co-owner of Stoneclad Farms, a master level Reiki practitioner, a certified equine assisted learning facilitator.
With us. Equine Connection.
these chicks right here, and teacher of Equus empowered and horse culture and energy programs, as well as associated workshops and sessions offerings. A generational and lifetime horse person, Leah has been educated and participated in various equine disciplines, as well as having managed both an equine reproduction department at a veterinary hospital and successful breeding farms. Through her decade-long participation in her mother's holistic wellness facility, she learned a variety of vibrational modalities, developing an extra interest in integrated holistic horse care and human wellness. Leah collaborates with both humans and horses in a method of connection, understanding, and exchange. Horses have profoundly enhanced her life, ensuring they are appreciated for their innate value and the significance of their own culture through which they are offer empowering interactions to humans is a driving force for Leah. These interactions enhance human healing, self-growth, awareness, and quality of life for all involved, including happier, healthier horses.
Woo! And there comes Leah.
And here comes, come on down.
That's right, fireworks and all.
Hey, I love the fireworks.
It's so cool. Just these two little thumbs do it every time. It's like so weird. Oh, yep. Okay, scooch away.
You just have to put your thumbs up and it does that?
That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was all by accident, but every time I do my thumbs up, I get fireworks. So it's like so bizarre.
Oh. Can you hear me? Because it looks like my video is frozen really in a weird spot.
Oh, no, I can hear you and you're moving, your beautiful face.
Okay.
But I'm very excited to have you here. I know you've been a guest speaker of ours many, many times, but 2024, especially at the Equine Connection, it really truly is all about connection in this disconnected world. There's so much disconnect, and our horses are so powerful in allowing that connection to self, being self-aware of who it is that we are. And I think you are just the absolute expert in this lovely field, because you're going to help us to understand, how do we know these differences in connections with our horses?
Yeah, it's a great question. And there's sort of a myriad of ways that we can start to discover when our horses are really communicating with us. I love how you guys touched on, just in your introduction there, that the horses are always the teachers. And if we are listening and really tuning in or attuned to them, but ultimately to ourselves as well, we start to be aware of more of those communications. It can come in the form of some body language, and we'll talk about that. But it's also about our own self-awareness, our own self-development, and then tuning into our own intuitive abilities, which really take that connection and understanding the communications to another level. And intuition is a huge part of horse culture, and it actually is a big part of human culture. And we all can do it. It's just like a muscle that the more you use, the stronger it gets. So those are some big parts.
That's very true. I know that's been my biggest thing. I think Leah knows this too, because I feel, I'm using my intuitive piece, and then sometimes I think, but my intuitive piece didn't tell me that. So maybe I'm not being intuitive. So I know that connecting, right, to that self and trusting, I guess, that the answer is truly there, and don't doubt, I guess, that process.
Yeah. And that, honestly, that takes practice. There are certainly some skills and protocols, we can kind of put in place, but ultimately it's the doing of it. And then it starts to become more and more clear. And the horses will help us with that when we really start to become aware of those offerings that they will present to us.
I like that so much. So tell us, how do you know, tell us first, how did you arrive to start your beautiful business, and let everyone know what it is? Why did you do this?
I appreciate you asking me my why, because I had that pretty clear for quite a while, and it's still clear, but I feel like I'm building it more. I believe self-growth is lifelong. I want to keep developing myself further and further. So originally it came because, way back, I have never had a day in my life without horses. They have been my greatest mentors and teachers on, kind of a variety of disciplines and modalities, I became aware of the concept of energy and different sort of wellness modalities when I was a teenager and had a very significant.
She's gone. Oh no, it's just me right now. She's going to be back. I know it for sure, but holy, and her story is really magnificent. So we will, I guess, just wait. Maybe as we're waiting, I'll let you know how we actually met Leah. Leah came to us to take our certification course. And it was so bizarre because I think there was like a family of 2 or 3 that were supposed to be coming that same week with Leah, but they couldn't come. So it ended up just being Leah on her own. Because we got Leah on her own, and she was already into, obviously, with Reiki and understanding chakras, she enlightened us to more things. We knew things were different with the horses and how they were wanting to connect with us and with other people. But, you know, we weren't sure of it. That's when I actually did listen to my intuitive piece. I would see horses doing things with our clients. And I personally, at the time, didn't understand exactly what it was that they were doing. But the one thing that I let my intuitive piece feel was, this feels right. So because I let the process that it felt right, there was nothing unsafe about the process. That's why it was so exciting, because then when Leah came in and we were telling her that, you know, we see this happening, but we didn't know it had specific meanings. All I went with is, my gut says this is the right thing, because I see the reaction to the human being and what it's bringing out for them. Sorry, Leah, I was telling a story while you went bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you for filling in that. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. So I just logged in again. If that happens again, I'll just do the same thing. It's sort of rural internet, can go in and out, I guess.
I hear you.
So thanks for filling in the space there. And I caught the tail end there. I think you were talking about how we met, which was amazing because, and you probably said this, there were other people that were supposed to be with me. And it turned out we just got to have one-on-one, and you guys were so open, and I was open because I wanted to learn from you, and we were able to collaborate. And I'm very, very, very grateful for having met you. It actually has really changed my life. So in such a huge positive way. Yeah. So speaking about changing lives, I became aware of a wide variety of modalities in sort of healing myself, and through my mom's, she had a holistic healing wellness center. So there's all kinds of wellness modalities that I was exposed to. So I had an awareness of this. And then I always had horses in my life, never a day without them. And it wasn't until about, I think it was around 2012, that I met my friend Laura Hines, and she did a session with me with a horse that eventually became hers. And it was like a light bulb went off. It was like a zipper, you know, kind of all of the pieces came together. And I thought, how did I not know horses were doing this my whole life? And so from there, I just really, she and I actually together for quite some time, really just delved deeply into what is ultimately horse culture, how they work together and how they work on each other. Horses are prey animals and they're herd animals. And if any one of them is out of balance, unwell, they're attracting the attention of predators. So it really is a huge part of their culture, in order to stay safe as a prey animal, that each of them is well and balanced and deeply connected. And when we become aware, horses will offer the same to us. So some of those might look like a horse that is reaching out with their muzzle. There may be very oral, and there may be picking up things around you, or they're reaching out and nuzzling you. Some horses actually will nip because they aren't yet sure that they're being heard. So they kind of dive in and dive out. So those really oral horses. Other horses, you'll find intentional placement of their body in relation to us or our clients. You'll find them also hold really clear meditative space or you'll even see them work on another horse in the vicinity of you or your client. So they work a myriad of ways, and those are kind of 4 ways that we focus on in my program. And if we get back to the why of why am I called to do this type of work, is, I mean, the brass tacks of it is that it's really good for people, but it's really good for the horses. We often bring horses into our culture and we expect them essentially to assimilate, and we don't always give enough awareness or credence to their culture. And in doing so, we create way deeper connections between horse and human. And we also allow the horse to do what they do amongst each other, which essentially is create wellness and balance and shifts, energetic shifts within our physiology. So they work with our fascia. They will work with the myofascial system and the biophotons that run through there. They will work on points on human bodies that may be carrying pain. That pain will give us some insight into actually a deeper emotional root cause. They'll work energy centers or chakras. They will work meridians. They do all of that on each other, and they will offer the same to people. And so horses often are shut down in our human culture for that. We might, so, we're always taught a horse should always stay in its own space. That's your bubble. This is my bubble. A horse should never put its muzzle on us. And those are very true in terms of safety elements. But there's a very big difference between a horse that is gently approaching us in a state of offering, rather than a horse that is sort of barging into our space and making some uncomfortable contact. So really that's where that self-awareness piece comes in for us as well, because you will really start to feel the difference when you know what to look for and you attune to yourself and your horse in terms of, is this an offering? And then being open to what that offering is. And when we become open to that offering, there's incredible amounts of self-insight that comes in for us or for our clients, if the horse is offering to our client, in addition to the horses actually shifting that energy that is running through us. Perhaps it's increasing it, perhaps it's decreasing it, but in any regard, it's bringing balance. So my why is because it's good for horse and human. And if I can give back to horses, they have just enhanced my life so significantly that in any way that I can give back to them is a big driving force.
I love that. And I love that you know what your gift is. And in having that gift, it's giving that gift back to these horses. That's why I love your course so much as well, because it really helps us for who are in the business, but not just in the business, it's being with your own horse. And I love the piece in when we now connect to their world, because you were right. We pulled them into our human world, and then we expect them to, I don't know, understand they have to do it our way, our rules, but that's not true, because if we're doing that, now we're losing everything in what the horse naturally just wants to give, but we've shut them down for so long that they're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what else to do except shut down and be with the herd and do what they naturally do. Because if you watch your herd, they do everything that you tell us that they are going to do. They always are working on each other. And that self-care and being aware of, that's the one thing we're always telling our clients is they're number one. They look after me, myself, and I first, because for safety and survival alone. So look after me. They work on myself. Then they reciprocate with each other. And I love the way that they do that. Maybe tell them how a horse will come in that beautiful way to offer and how we can accept or not accept.
Sure. So really, where do I want to take this? Do we want to start with, let's touch on what you said about how horses they're working on each other all the time. So one of the ways we can start to recognize, are they offering for us, is actually to watch the herd. So watch how horses interact with each other. watch how they approach each other when they're going to do what most horse people will call it mutual grooming. If you start to investigate a little further, who's that itchy at the same time in the same place? So when we start to think about what's the science of an itch even, and to take it down to the barest bones, an itch is just either an abundance of energy or a stasis of energy. So yes, it can come from outside stimulus. It can also be internal. So sometimes horses potentially would feel itchy. Most of the time when they're working on each other, it is specifically to bring balance to that specific area. And when we break it down even further, what is the area that they are scratching each other on? And when we look at the scientific theories of chakras, we know that it ties into the myofascial system. There are more fascia in that area where we know that the chakra is than any other part of the body. So there's 7 main areas. And each one of those energy centers also is connected to various nerves, the organs in our bodies, also emotion. So when you see horses mutually grooming, start to tune into how do you feel in that moment. I've never met someone that said, like, I hate that. I hate when they're scratching each other. I wish they would stop it. Most people, if they stop and take a breath and watch for a little while and feel a positive emotion. So that alone lets us know that there is something happening. There's a shift going on. And then you really start to pay attention. Well, what is the specific area those horses are working on? That gives you insight into this individual horses and also the state of the herd. So there's so much insight to be gained there. The second way we can really start to pay attention and notice when a horse is approaching us to offer these are they'll do something that is a little bit different than what a prey animal usually does. Prey animals have eyes on the side of their head. So most of what they do is on a curve. They're usually doing things from the side. When they approach each other or they approach something, there's always just a little bit of a curve. But when a horse is offering to interact with people in the way that they would interact with a horse, there may still be a little bit of a curve to their head, but generally they will approach pretty straight on. Usually their head will be lowered. They'll have kind of more soft eye, but you will feel the intention. Some horses, when they realize that they are allowed to work on us, they'll come in actually fairly excited. They'll have head high. You'll have that excited feeling like I'm really allowed to do this. So as you tune into the herd, as you're watching them, you'll begin to tune into yourself. So how is this making me feel? It's quite a somatic experience really often as well. So start to pay attention when your horses are interacting with you. Are they approaching with intention? Is that head lowered? Do you have a feeling? And you're going to have to tune into yourself and start practicing that. Is this a feeling of offering, or is this horse really marching up to me and making some uncomfortable contact? So there are some big ways. The other part of that self-awareness and self-development piece is our horses will help us become more attuned to our own feelings in our body. Certainly tune in with our intuitive senses. Pay attention. If your horse nuzzles your forehead, as an example, this can be a very specific interaction with what is called the third eye chakra. And the main function of that energy center is intuition. So they will tune up that. They will bring the energy. They will balance that for you so that your intuitive abilities become more in balance for you and hence more accessible, open, and in alignment. So the other thing we can do is continue to learn to regulate ourselves emotionally. So this also translates to our physiology. So we can do some things like regulate our breathing. I know you guys have a really good breathing exercise. Some meditation. Make sure we have our own self-care. Become aware of some polyvagal theory. There's so many things we can do to learn to regulate ourselves emotionally. And this helps us become mindful and present. This is all part of the attunement process. So we're going to connect to our bodies. Our bodies are like an antenna. We have our own electromagnetic field. So do the horses. These interact. Pay attention, get a good grounding practice. So we can be, before I started our chat today, I was having maybe a little bit of nerves or excitement. So I knew I had to do some cleansing breaths and some grounding breaths. That brings me back into alignment. And then that allows me to share or be more in tune with our conversation. So the same thing with the horses. I'm going to ground myself before I do an interaction with my horses, because I want to be very aware of their communications. And then again, we can start to pay attention in our bodies to what we feel and where do we feel it in our body. So let's say we're working on our intuition and we would like some feedback. So perhaps we'll ask ourselves a question. You could start with something so simple as, is there snow on the ground today? Feel where you feel the answer in your body. If you feel it in your abdomen, this is our solar plexus, our sense of self. That's often an indication you're getting a true, good, intuitive feedback. If you feel the answer kind of swirling around in your head, that might mean we're overthinking it. So this is something we're creating in our minds and maybe isn't fully intuitive. When we get very clear on it, you might actually feel it very, very centered in third eye. You're going to feel your answer. So these are all things that we practice and work on, for example, throughout my program. But in doing these things, this is what connects us even closer both to ourselves and to our horses, to really increase that level of communication. And again, we're going to observe our horses. They are always the teacher. Myself, I have learned this from you pull some things that you learn throughout your life, but ultimately it's the horses that have guided me and taught me. And it wasn't until 2012 where I even realized that was happening. And it sort of exploded once I had the self-awareness and the external realization that they were working on me in this way, and then started to allow it myself. And then when you become more and more comfortable in recognizing the communications, opening that up for our clients. And then people get all this benefit that the horse is bringing, both the self-insight and also that actual energetic exchange and balancing that they offer. And then my intention is that all of these interactions help us to become a better version of ourselves, to continue to reach our highest and best self. And then every being that interacts with us in that state is also able to reach a higher level of themselves, and that it just continues to ripple out that way, because those people interact with more people or more beings, more horses, and making life better for all the beings on earth. Yeah.
I love listening to you. I know Carolyn and I say this all the time, but to me, like, your energy it's just so soothing. Like, seriously, you probably could put any baby to bed. It just feels so darn good just hearing your words, and you can see it and you can feel that process. And I guess that's the biggest thing with being connected and being self-aware of that, because you're feeling it through, well, for me, even right now, it's through my whole being as you're, taking us through this experience. The one area that I always find so interesting is when my horses do this quite often to me, they will lick me. And I know they're not needing my salt, because trust me, I'm not sweating enough down at my old hands here, right? So even in that licking piece, tell people what you know about that, because that one I always find very interesting, because it makes me really be present again, because, well, I'll let you tell it.
Awesome. Yes. So again, horses will interact with us in a variety of ways. Often it is through their muzzle. Their muzzle is how they explore the world. They start that way as a foal. mothers, all the mares interact with their foals, with their muzzles. So one of the first ways we can start to recognize that a horse is offering an interaction with us of energetic exchange and balance is, again, they will approach us generally in a straight line. Some horses don't yet know they're allowed to do that. So it might come, they'll just come around to the side and they might start to interact with your hand. That's usually the first place that they will interact with. So the hand is the extension of heart energy. So heart, the main function is love of self and others. It is also healing. The heart meridian runs down our arm into our hands also. So when we are paying attention to how horses are working on each other in the field, in the herd, someone put in the chat for me, when you see horses mutually grooming, I have actually coined it for myself and our group, mutually balancing. So rather than mutually grooming, they're doing more. There's mutual balancing going on. Someone put in the chat for me, where are the main places you see horses working on each other? When they are scratching each other, where do you see them doing it the most? Where's the location? I'll give you a minute to throw it in the chat.
Yes, I like this. Interactive.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if my chat is up to date with yours. Oh, there we go. So I hope I say your name correctly. Cherie or Sherry says withers, Miranda, withers. Yeah, exactly. So the withers, that whole area, the chakra in that area is heart. So horses will approach each other. Withers back, heart. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Horses will approach each other, and the first place they usually interact with each other is at the withers, which is the heart chakra, which is bonding, love of self and others, also healing. Horses will approach people in the same way, but especially horses that are either incredibly aware of space or not super sure that they're allowed to interact with us this way, they will almost always start with your hands. So they will nuzzle, sniff, lick. We're going to take into consideration too that, many of us as professionals, we're not generally hand feeding our horses. So they're also not usually looking for treats. You're going to find them interact with our heart chakra. So initiating that bond right with your hand. So they will lick. So some horses always lick. That's sort of their way. Other horses nuzzle. Others are much more subtle and they will just use their breath. So that's that first initiation. So if that happens with your horse, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth, and just settle into yourself. Send some roots down from your feet and deep into the earth and ground yourself. And set the intention with your horse that you're open to allowing them to continue to do some of that balancing. And it is important to continue to have safety and boundaries in place. And so in my module 5, we go through that pretty specifically as well. But you can start to allow your horse to continue to make those shifts within you, just with your intention and that big breath. That's what horses do with each other.
Oh, I love that. It's always interesting, even though we do it all the time. Like we're with them all the time. They're connecting with us and showing us that this mutual balancing, we're like, yeah, give it to me. Give it. I need it. Again, whether it to be reassuring us of something or to just help us to be a little bit more, open. It's just all beautiful. And you're right. You know it because of the feeling that it gives to you within your body. And you can always tell through the horse because we should be understanding the horse's language through that body and how it is rolling as well. You had mentioned how some horses, they'll just maybe place their body. And this is crucial in understanding. First of all, we at the Equine Connection, through our certification, we do not pull on the horse's head because, well, that's just another day, but we don't pull on their head. So that is showing us when we're allowing our horses to be a teacher, it can't be a tight lead rope by any means, because if a horse wants to do that through their body, just by placing their body, that means we have to allow them to actually move. Like, we don't want to try to keep them in a controlled state. Well, first of all, that's not who they are. So even for that, which would be hard for a lot of people, because sometimes people are like, no, listen to me. I tell you, you stay, you do not move from here, right? But now we're taking away that ability through what they're saying through their body, which is good. I'm not saying the bad stuff, I'm saying the good stuff. How do you help people to kind of release some of that control so the horse can use their talent to be able to show them through their body? Does that make sense, what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, first of all, we always still need to have, I want to use the word leadership, but for me, I'm happy to step into the leadership role with either horse or human. But I'm also going to have developed a relationship with my horse where there is a level of communication and trust between us that I actually feel comfortable that I can give the horse that space to to step into those communication roles that I don't need to be managing. So there's a big relationship building piece there. That's, again, my module 7. We're building relationship and we're doing self-care, because you have to have a good, strong, healthy relationship with yourself as well, in terms of your own self-care, your leadership qualities, that sort of thing. So I'm always going to go to relationship first. And within that, there are always boundaries and leadership between us. The other thing that I would offer for people that are maybe a little bit uncomfortable with making that shift is the more time you spend with your horse, being present, giving back to them in ways with no expectation, you begin to trust each other. But the more time and presence you can spend, the more present you are with yourself. It comes back to that attunement piece with yourself, in terms of trusting your intuition and trusting what you're feeling. Because again, there's a very different feeling between a horse that's sort of trying to run around and go all over the place because it's sort of seeking that relationship and that safety, and a horse that is confident in what it's offering. So you will feel the difference as you begin to attune and really build those skills within yourself. You'll recognize that this is not a horse that's either trying to run away or push over you, that there's an intentionality in what they're offering. And the other part to that is, as you gain some knowledge into, for example, what the energy centers are, what their main function is, and their location, you'll then start to realize why and where this horse is placing itself so intentionally. So there's a knowledge piece that gives you some confidence, and it goes hand in hand with that attunement and intuitive piece. So gaining some knowledge on, even if you just did the chakras, again, there's meridians, there's also those emotional root causes for physical manifestations. Those pieces come together, but generally we start with learning the chakras, and that can be a funny word for people. So there's a lot of scientific theories that support the existence of and the function of chakras. Again, that's sort of my program focus in module 1. But knowing why and where the horse is aligning, and then tuning into that intentional piece with the foundation of the relationship, is all the sort of building blocks that put it together to help our comfort level.
Thank you. Very nice. And I love the way that you say it versus the way I say it. If you're a control freak, if you're uncomfortable, see, like Leah does it a completely different way. I love it. It makes me feel so darn good. Oh, it's been so amazing, even for everything that we have learned through you, Leah. Just even getting to me, I guess I call that more touchy-feely, because you have to be in a feel place to feel it, but to also accept that and understand it. You can't be brain thinking on all of this because it's too much. We put falseness into a lot of our thoughts. So that's why it's really neat to be in the position of feeling. The other day, well, yesterday actually, it was so phenomenal. Our new curly horse, Sophie, she's a brood mare, so she's definitely been a mother a few times. She's just got a beautiful disposition, but this one guy, he is so nervous, but he loved Sophie. So he loved her, but he was having difficulty with backing her up, which is for the majority, right? Intention, your body language, everything has to still be a part of what you're trying to do with this horse. Anyway, gave him a demo, did everything, and the horse will not budge whatsoever. So then I just asked him a question. So why do you think, though, that she's stalling on the backup? What else do you need in order to back her up? He said, I don't know. I said, but you do. He goes, well, then Sophie came and put her muzzle all over his throat. Oh my gosh. It is so tender. It was so beautiful. So I said, okay, hold on for a sec. What does that feel like? I don't know. I said, are you okay? I don't know. I said, okay, just breathe. I'm right here. Just breathe. So he starts to breathe. I said, how does that feel? He goes, oh, it feels really good. I said, so what lives there? So then, of course, I'm going to get into this. Because I guess, you know what? I'm not confident to back her up. Oh my gosh. It was like he helped him to use and get rid of what he was thinking to be able to say, this is why. As soon as he said this out loud, she moved her head over, he backed her up and backed her up like 4 or 5 times. He's like, he just couldn't believe that he did this just because she helped with him telling his truths, I guess it would be. Yeah.
So let's break that down. And you probably did this exactly with him, but just for the people listening. So she is nuzzling his throat. And before he's saying, I don't know, couldn't communicate what was going on. So for those, put this in the chat for me. Is anyone familiar with the throat chakra and the main function? Can someone put in the chat what the main function of the throat chakra is?
It's just so fun when we're interactive. It made me so happy.
I would have kept forgetting to talk all the time. Like I would have just been like, you keep going.
I love it.
I think my chat is probably a little bit behind.
Nobody has done it yet. I think they're scared. No.
Here we go. We have Ravenheart Equine Assisted Learning Center and Retreat. Thank you so much for putting in there. And Isla is in there too. Communication. So the throat chakra's main function is communication. But communication is not always outwardly. It's also what we're saying to ourselves. So it's inward and outward communication. So it sounds to me like she helped sort of do both. So she balanced this area. So he was both able to recognize what it was that was holding him back. So his own internal communication, and then actually verbalize it. And then once it was verbalized, that shift is created. And then he could do it. I would also be very interested if she didn't at some point before or after also work a little bit on solar plexus. So I mentioned solar plexus earlier. That's in our abdomen, kind of above the belly bone and below the breastbone. And the main function of solar plexus is sense of self. That's where our self-confidence comes from, our self-discipline. And so if he was lacking a little bit of confidence, I would be interested if she also didn't interact with solar plexus, either with her muzzle or in the placement of her body in order to help him move some of that potentially unbalanced energy. So that throat interaction is so powerful. Awesome. That's a special little mare. And I haven't met her yet. What's her name again, that mare?
Her name is Sophie.
Sophie. Yeah.
Sophie.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no, she is a lovely girl, but no, it was some beautiful, like yesterday was outrageous. All of the horses were doing something. with the humans. And we don't usually get that for all of the groups. I mean, 4 horses, 10 people, that's very, very rare. But now that, again, we're no pulling on the horse, really being self-aware of our own body language, being connected. Wow, it's like it's opened the floodgates even more for our horses to be able to help the humans help themselves.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And then in terms of that helping themselves, so that self-insight piece, if we just stayed just with throat surrounding communication, that's potentially an area that would be of huge benefit for him to have the awareness of. Now he's essentially got the awareness of, but to take that home so he can do even more to continue to be aware of and build his communication skills when we incorporate potentially color. Color is vibration. So the color associated with communication is blue. That's the color of that particular chakra. So, we can just start to give our clients more and more tools to take home, eat blue foods, use a blue bath, wear blue clothes, but have the awareness around communication, because she's already made that shift for him and he can continue to build on it. So just some little tidbits that we can send home with our clients that they have an awareness of, that they take out of the barn.
Ooh, I'm writing that one down too, because why not? I mean, we got the bookmarks. Why not throw in another bookmark for what that area is that they have been working on? I love that. Yeah. So, yeah, tell us all about your course. Tell us how long it takes. Tell us cost, detail, how many weeks it is. Are you just in and out and bye-bye? Good luck to you. Are you here for us? Give us everything and how to find it.
Sure, happy to. Well, first of all, the best place you can find information to connect with me is on my website. So that is www.leahdyck.com. So most of my information is there, and I'm actually updating it because I'm sort of continuing on to the next kind of learning for myself too. On there, you will find information on my Equus Empowered 9-week, 9-module program. So each week we start a new module. In that module, you will have video theory. Then you're going to have some integrative practices, which is just my nice word for homework. And then we actually meet in small groups. So in those meetings, they're generally about an hour and a half. And you've got 4 to 5 other people in your group that will be talking about their own experiences. So at the same time, you get to share your experiences, ask your questions, learn and grow yourself. You're hearing the experiences of other people. So you're getting even a wider variety. And you're also seeing how we would facilitate those. So I will facilitate the other people and you in your class. And those are essentially the same things you would be doing with your clients if you're going to use this in your business. So there's one-on-one between us, and then you're creating some small groups that expands your community. So you're creating community. You have access to a private Facebook group where there's a whole bunch of us on there. And I see a few of my lovely people who are also often your lovely people in our chat here. And you also always have access to ask your questions in that Facebook group. You always have access to me, anything that you want to touch base on. You know, our community is there to support you. So you're getting accountability, you have your homework, and you're learning and growing as well. After that, we've also got a monthly membership that, again, people in the group asked for. They wanted to stay connected. So it continues on. And there's also a self-led course on my website called Horse Culture and Energy. That's sort of almost like a teaser, for the full Equus Empowered program, but there are a couple of options there. So I do have some groups opening in March and then another one in May. And if you'd like to have more information about that, feel free to jump on my website. Maybe just, Carolyn or some, oh, it's right there. I was gonna say, can one of you put that in the chat? But I see it. Go to my contact page. You can send me a message, or I actually have a scheduler right on my website, and we'll do a quick connection call. And that's where you and I would meet on Zoom, really similar to this. And we just go through and find out where you're at right now, where you'd like to be, and if the program would be of service to you. Because for me, again, another driving force is to be of service. Contribution is really important to me. So I want to work with the right people that I know I can be of service to and that the program is of service to. So I really want to be sure it's a good fit. If it's not, no problem at all. I'm happy to send, I always send some resources out, and I'm just grateful to connect regardless. I am on Facebook. I'm not good at social media. I definitely need Carson's help. If for any of you that don't know, Carson is an Equine Connection community member and Carrie's daughter, and she's phenomenal at her social media. So I'm not so good at it, but you can find me at Leah Dyck, Equus Attuned on Facebook as well.
I love it. And for those of you, because I see we have some of our new facilitators that are in the comments as well, Leah also gives you a lovely discount, or yes. I don't know, do you call it a discount?
Pardon?
Do you call it a discount?
Yeah. Yep. Any Equine Connection facilitator gets a fairly substantial discount. So pricing is on my website for kind of a la carte, just off of the website there, but there is a discount for any Equine Connection facilitator.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing and connecting. And oh my goodness, it's just been so phenomenal. And as you can tell in the comments, everybody is so grateful that you were here to share so much with us as well. I don't know how to, they keep coming up now, so whatever. I'm sharing everybody's comments and I don't know how I'm doing it, but that's okay. I'd rather work with the horses. Maybe it's supposed to be out there for some reason. So to end with, is there anything in being self-aware and connection and allowing that horse in their culture and their language? Is there a tip, or is there something that you can end off with before everybody starts to go and check out your website?
You know, so here's what our monthly membership group is doing this month. We have committed to sitting even just 2 times a week out with our horses for even just 5 minutes. For those of us in winter, go crawl in the hay and sit with your horses, and be open. Just be open to any experience, any interaction that happens, that comes. Most of you, I would expect, would have a grounding practice or at least a breathing practice if you've gone through the Equine Connection Facilitator course. For those that are new to that, feel free to send me a message on my website and I'll send you my breathing and grounding exercises. Do that and just sit with your horses and be open. And then if you would like, again, I'm always happy to chat with people. Post on my Facebook page what happened and let's go through it. Let's kind of facilitate it a little bit and dig a bit deeper into whatever interaction happened for you. So I would just encourage you, spend 2 times in the next week, 5 minutes a time. Do your breathing exercises first, sit and be quiet and allowing. And also observe what the horses are doing with each other. So I would just leave you with that. And then if I can be of service to you in any interaction that happened or in a breathing or grounding exercise, please reach out either on Facebook or on my website. And I'd be happy to connect with you further about that.
That is a lovely way to end it, because you know what? We're always busy, always making the excuses. We don't have time. Well, we do have time, because we have time for self, which connects to self, which connects to our horses. And I just, oh shoot, Leah's gone, but that's okay because we're at the end anyways. I was just going to tell you what we will do as well, because she has offered to also give you the gift of the 2 breathing exercises that she has. So if you want the gift, type in Leah, and then we will make sure that she is connected to you as well to collect those gifts. So the key word is Leah. Does that work, Charles?
Yep.
Okay, well, goodbye, everybody. I think that was a beautiful way for the Hump Wednesday to start, begin, and because what a beautiful way to be more connected to our beautiful horses. Oh, Leah is coming back. So let's just show one more time. The magic act has returned. So I had just told them to put Leah in the comments, because you can also comment in there too, Leah, about your gift of the 2 breathing exercises, which is beautiful that you're giving that. So then you can connect with the people here as well.
Super. I love that. Thanks so much. That sounds great. Yeah. Anyone that would like it, I will send it out to you.
Okay, so remember, type in Leah, and hopefully you spell her the right way, because you saw her name at the beginning. Okay, people, pay attention. You know, sometimes Carolyn, it was so funny. I'm sorry, now I'm too yippy, but Carolyn had this work chat message today. Now, they spelled her name wrong. Now, many times they spell Carolyn's name wrong, but it's funny because when you're in the work chat, it shows the name totally spelled out, right? So it's like, okay, are we aware of what we're doing? Because mine is always about names. You better make sure that that's the way it's spelled, because that's important to me, to that person, right? But no, 3 times she spelled her name wrong, and it's just right there. I'm like, you gotta be more aware, people, but you are truly a blessing to all of us, and most importantly to the horses. And I know for us, certification is the welfare of the horse. It's the foundation of everything we do, but you are that beautiful cherry on top of everything that melds it and brings it together. So thank you for being a blessing and a gift to all of us and our horses.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I feel similarly about all of you. You have changed my life, and you're changing lives all over the world, and it is rippling out from you as well. And I'm honored to be part of your community. And thank you for asking me. And I will happily come back anytime.
Heck yeah. Okay. Sounds good. You have an amazing day, everyone. I don't know how to turn it off, so maybe Carolyn will come this way.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy the day.
Bye, Leah.